Warning, there are swearing ahead. In this version of the world, Alastor accepts Vox's proposal, but with his own conditions. All right, pal, why not? But I have the final say in everything. You can be the face and the voice all you want, but I'm the one on top. Got it? Vox, happy that Alastor agreed, immediately shakes his hand. Before continuing, it's important to clarify a few things. There will be no ships that aren't already canon. Vox may try to push boundaries or challenge Alastor at times, but he is consistently and calmly shut down. This is not a romance-focused story. Also, Valentino's behavior is toned down and kept under control for this version. Now back to the story. After Velvet joins, she repeatedly asks Alastor to let her redesign his outfit. After what feels like the 200th request, he finally agrees, but only briefly. The result keeps his original style, just with a refreshed, more modern feel. In this timeline, they are known as the Avalons instead of the Vs. Alastor handles most of the Overlord meetings himself, since he expects that if Velvet gets involved, things could easily escalate into conflict. Because of this, he prefers to manage that side of the business personally. He continues running his radio show as well, while maintaining his usual influence and fear over Hell. When Rosie tells him to step away for 7 years, he instead frames it as taking a short break. He tells others he'll be gone temporarily, but assures Vox that he will be in charge until he returns. During this time, Alastor eventually makes his way to the Has-Been Hotel, where he meets Charlie and the others. Vaggie is noticeably more cautious than usual, aware of who he is, not just one of the most powerful demons in Hell, but also the leader of the Avalons. Alastor still maintains ownership over Husk and Nifty. After discussing things and making a few adjustments to the hotel, Alastor returns to Avalon business. He explains that he is only assisting Charlie's hotel for entertainment purposes, simply observing the chaos and hoping to see whether sinners succeed or fail. He also makes it clear that no one from Avalon should interfere with the hotel's purpose. He even instructs Killjoy to leave Charlie alone if she wishes to keep her position. Using his cane, Alastor opens a doorway directly from his room to the hotel, allowing easy travel between the two locations. Vox keeps him updated on anything he misses, and later suggests visiting the hotel to inspect and improve things. Alastor agrees, as long as Vox doesn't go overboard. No unnecessary additions like gift shops or major redesigns. He also warns Valentino not to interfere, noting that one of his workers is currently involved there. Alastor gives Valentino a sharp look. "You're not planning to ruin my fun with this place, are you?" Valentino simply shakes his head, clearly annoyed, while Vox places an arm around him to keep him calm. When they arrive at the hotel, Alastor informs Charlie that they're there to observe and assist only, not to interfere or cause disruption. Angel Dust is in his room at the time, and Vox makes sure Valentino avoids any contact with him. Charlie then suggests the idea of a television advertisement for the hotel. Vox immediately agrees and offers to produce it, promising not to sabotage the hotel's progress. As they look around, Vox comments casually, "This place is a mess. If only we could break it down and rebuild it properly." He says it more as a passing thought than an actual plan. After finishing minor improvements, they eventually leave and return to town. Cut to Vox sitting at a desk, staring directly into the camera. "Hello everyone, it's me, Vox, the voice of the Avalons." He leans forward slightly, flashing a confident smile. "I'm here to tell you something important. Do you want to fix your life, get a second shot at redemption, then head down to the Has-Been Hotel?" The video cuts. Lady Killjoy appears next, forcing a tight, uneasy smile. "I was wrong about the hotel, it's not nothing. If you want to change your life, go there and start over." Cut to Charlie inside the hotel, speaking earnestly. "I believe every sinner deserves a second chance, if they're willing to try." Cut to Velvet, focused on designing a dress as she talks casually. "We all deserve second chances, like Charlie said." Cut back to Vox. "We still don't fully know how it all works yet, but you can trust us." The screen fades to black and zooms out from a TV playing the ad. Veggie steps back nodding. "That was great." Vox smirks. "Of course it was, I made it." Charlie then asks, "So, how long does something like this usually take to work?" Vox pauses, thinking, then shrugs with both hands slightly raised. "I'm not sure. Normally, results show up in minutes. But since you wouldn't let me use the usual methods, like sexual manipulation, spying, or anything like that, it might take longer. Still, we'll get results." Alastor rolls his eyes in the background. Charlie's phone suddenly rings. She answers it and steps away quickly. Velvet, still on her phone, glances up. I still think this place needs less red. Vox responds flatly. It's her hotel, her color choice. Velvet rolls her eyes as Veggie walks over to Charlie, who is already heading out quickly. Everyone notices the shift. Charlie suddenly starts singing and rushes outside. Veggie calls after her, Charlie, wait. Angel Dust interrupts from nearby. That bitch is already halfway down the street. Veggie groans. Please tell me she's not. Angel cuts in again. Oh, she's singing all right. Veggie sighs deeply. Vox tilts his head. What got her so excited? Veggie explains quickly. She just got called to a meeting with Heaven. Lucifer was busy, so they sent her in his place. She wants to present her idea directly. Vox pauses, then nods slightly. That's actually a good opportunity. If she can get Heaven on board, this whole hotel might actually work. Angel Dust looks over. Shouldn't you go with her? She's not exactly great at this stuff. Vox freezes. Shit. He immediately turns into a bolt of lightning, shooting off toward her. Alastor glances at Angel. Why don't you use your brain more often? Angel gives him a deadpan stare. Later, Charlie is about to enter the heavenly building when lightning strikes beside her. Vox reappears in a flash. Charlie, wait. Let me come with you. You're not exactly built for political conversations. Charlie smiles, relieved. Oh yeah, thanks. They walk inside together. Vox looks around. Not bad. Charlie rings the bell. A paper appears. They both sign it and are transported into the meeting room. They are greeted by Adam, the leader of the exorcists. Vox steps forward confidently. Hello, gentlemen, I'm Vox, media overlord and voice of the Avalons. He reaches out for a handshake, but his hand passes straight through. Adam isn't physically there. Adam laughs loudly. Haha. Got you. You should have seen the fucking look on your face. That shit was fucking priceless. Vox pauses, masking his annoyance with a tight smile. Right. Adam grins. Adam. First man. Charlie raises her hand slightly when Vox look over at her with a bit of surprise. She didn't know that either Adam then casually offers ribs as if nothing happened. Vox mutters under his breath. Definitely another trick, Adam sighs. A fucking party pooper. Time passes as Adam rambles and tells stories. Eventually, Vox cuts in. So, Adam, we have a proposal. Instead of exterminations, what if we focused on redemption, helping sinners improve instead of killing them? Adam stares at him for a moment, then bursts out laughing. Oh, hell no. In fact, we're fucking moving the schedule up, 6 months early this time. Vox's expression tightens. You can't be serious. Adam cuts him off by singing. Hell is forever. Cut to the end of the song. Adam abruptly grabs both of their hands and throws them out of the room. They land outside. Vox stares at the door, then down at his arm. Well, what the fuck, how does that make any sense? How the fuck did he touch my hand? Vox sigh. They both begin walking back, Vox trying his best to calm Charlie down and keep her from panicking. When they return to the hotel, the atmosphere is tense. Vox is already scrolling through his phone, seeing the news spreading everywhere about the new 6-month change to the extermination schedule. Charlie is panicking in the background, overwhelmed and pacing. Vox's phone rings. It's Velvet. Her voice comes through irritated. Valentino is fucking wrecking my workplace again. Vox sighs heavily, not even surprised anymore. Of course he fucking is. Without hesitation, he turns into lightning and bolts off toward the tower to deal with it. Alastor simply watches everything unfold like it's a stage play, amused but detached, barely reacting, until a wall in the hotel suddenly gets blown apart. Alastor slowly steps outside to investigate, calm as ever, as if nothing could possibly concern him. At the same time, Sir Pentious in his airship yell out, Sir Alastor. I have channeled you once again to request joining the Avalons. Alastor tilts his head slightly. Who are you? Pentious freezes. We have battled over 20 times just last week. Alastor pauses, then responds flatly. Then you must have been quite forgettable if I can't recall it. Cut to Vox. He has just finished dealing with Valentino. Before he can return to the hotel, he's immediately surrounded by civilians asking questions about the Heaven incident and the new extermination change. He forces a smile. We are currently working on protective measures for the public. Please remain calm. Details will follow. Using his hypnotic eye effect, he subtly clears the crowd and dismisses them, then turns into lightning again and heads back to the hotel. When Vox arrives, he immediately notices something strange. A massive green energy blast flashes in the distance. Sir Pentious is sent flying through the air. Vox turns his head sharply and sees Alastor already preparing to teleport away toward the tower. Vox calls out, "What the hell happened?" Alastor responds casually, adjusting himself. "Oh, nothing important. I simply need to fix a tear in my suit caused by a rather annoying sinner." Before Vox can respond, Alastor fades into the shadows and disappears. Vox exhales sharply. "I'm not dealing with shit." He turns back toward the hotel entrance, but his phone rings again. One of his workers. He answers, irritated. "What is it now?" The voice on the other end replies urgently. "We found something you're going to want to see." Back at the tower, Vox arrives and is led to a secured room. Inside, he's shown a disturbing sight. An angel's severed head. Vox pauses, visibly surprised, but more curious than afraid. Carefully, he picks it up, keeping it wrapped. Soon after, he calls the Avalons to a small emergency meeting. Alastor, Velvet, and Valentino all arrive, clearly confused by the sudden urgency. Without saying much, Vox places the head on the table. Silence. Alastor calmly reaches out, dips a finger into the blood, and tastes it. Interesting. The others stare at the head, confused. "How?" someone finally asks. Even Alastor seems mildly curious now, glancing at the remains. Vox crosses his arms. "Not sure yet, but this proves something important. They can be killed." He pauses, eyes narrowing slightly. "We just need to figure out how." A beat. "But I have a feeling I already know who's responsible." The next day, Charlie is fully focused on Angel Dust, convinced that helping him improve might be the key to proving redemption is possible, and finally getting heaven to listen. Meanwhile, Alastor strolls casually toward the hotel, cane tapping lightly against the ground. Then he hears it, the distant hum of an airship. He slowly turns. His smile sharpens, unnaturally so. His eyes begin to glow a deep, ominous red. Serpentius appears overhead, just about to speak. "I have once again channeled." Before he can finish, shadowy tendrils lash out, wrapping tightly around him and dragging him down. "Oh, that's all he manages before the beating begins. The airship is torn apart, again, for what feels like the 100th time. Metal rips, flames burst, and pieces scatter across the street as Alastor dismantles it with ease. Then he pauses. An idea forms. Instead of finishing Serpentius off, Alastor rips him free from the wreckage and drops him onto the ground. Alastor leans in slightly, voice calm but threatening. "You're going to become a new guest at the hotel." A pause. "And if you don't, well, I suppose I could always use a new voice for my broadcasts." Serpentius stiffens, clearly terrified. I agree." Alastor straightens, satisfied. "Splendid." Serpentius shakily moves to follow him toward the hotel, but Alastor suddenly stops. Someone else is there. Zestial appears almost out of nowhere. "Greetings, Alastor. How farest thou on this most auspicious day?" Alastor doesn't miss a beat. "Ah, Zestial, a pleasure as always." He casually steps over to a shard of broken glass, using it to adjust his bow tie. Zestial observes him. "Vox hath said thou wert resting for quite some time." Alastor hums softly. "Yes, well, I had grown rather bored of the same old routine." He finishes adjusting his bow tie, his smile returning to normal. "Besides, I find myself quite looking forward to this little meeting." Then his gaze shifts to Serpentius. "You go ahead to the hotel, tell them you wish to change." A brief pause. His eyes flash red again. "And if you don't, I will find you." Serpentius nods rapidly, not daring to argue, and quickly makes his way toward the hotel, still visibly shaking. Alastor watches him go. Amused Alastor and Zestial walk side by side, calm and composed, casually discussing small matters as they approach the Overlord's meeting building. When they enter the meeting room, Alastor takes a seat beside Rosi without a word. Carmilla is just about to begin when the doors swing open. Velvet strides in like she owns the place. "Hello, Bit. Velvet." Alastor's voice cuts cleanly through the room. She pauses, clearly annoyed, then exhales sharply. My apologies." Alastor gives a small, approving nod. Carmilla narrows her eyes. "Why are you here? I assumed with Alastor's return he would be handling the Avalon's presence in these meetings." Velvet drops into a chair, lounging like she's on a beach. Yeah, he is. I'm just here because he asked me to." Then, without warning, she pulls something out and tosses it onto the table. An angel's severed head. It lands with a dull thud, streaking blood across the surface. The room goes still. "We found this," Velvet says casually, "which means they can be killed." Alastor watches carefully. He notices it immediately, the subtle shift in Carmilla's expression. Just for a moment her composure tightens. Carmilla responds coldly. "This proves nothing. We've all seen the exorcists. This could have been self-inflicted." Velvet stands, slowly circling the table. "Since when were we afraid to fight back?" Zestial speaks up, calm as ever. "We cannot act without proper interest nor certainty." Velvet walks up toward him, a smirk forming. What, are you scared or? Before she can finish, Alastor is suddenly beside her. His cane blocks her path. Velvet, my dear, don't be rude. She glares at him, annoyed, but sighs and backs off, returning to her seat. Alastor remains standing. My apologies for her enthusiasm. He steps forward, tone shifting slightly, though she does raise a point. He reaches down and lifts the angel's head, inspecting it with interest. If I'm not mistaken, you typically requires angelic steel during exterminations, correct? He turns his gaze toward Carmilla, sharp and knowing. I believe you understand quite well why this one is missing its head. A pause. He sets the head back down gently. But of course, if you'd prefer to keep such information to yourself for now, I won't force the matter. Carmilla's expression hardens completely. This meeting is over. She turns and walks out without another word. Zestial follows her into another room. Alastor watches them go, then quietly his shadow stretches and slips after them. Moments later, Alastor stands just outside, listening. Inside, the truth becomes clear. Carmilla was the one who killed the angel. A small, satisfied smile crosses his face. Not long after, Alastor is already on his way back to the hotel, Velvet walking beside him, complaining non-stop about how the meeting went. Cut to the Has-Been Hotel. Charlie is speaking with Serpentius, who is already enthusiastically building some kind of cannon. Vaggie stands nearby, arms crossed. Clearly not trusting him in the slightest, Alastor steps into the hotel with Velvet still at his side, her voice carrying as she continues complaining about the meeting. I'm just saying the whole thing was a waste of time. No one wants to act, no one wants to. A crack of electricity cuts her off. Vox suddenly materializes from a nearby camera in a flash of lightning. Well, how'd the meeting go? Alastor doesn't even slow his pace. Productive, though it could have been better. Still, I got the answer I wanted. Vox narrows his eyes slightly. And what answer would that be? But Alastor is already walking past him. Oh, I think it'll be far more entertaining if I keep that a secret for now. Vox exhales, clearly annoyed, but he doesn't push. He knows better. Alastor reveals things only when it suits him. Back at the tower, Valentino is pacing, irritated, no, furious. Angel Dust hasn't responded to a single one of his messages. He considers storming over to the hotel, but stops himself. Vox would absolutely tear into him for interfering, reminding him this whole situation could benefit them long-term. Valentino groans. Yeah, fine. He'll deal with it later. The next morning, Vaggie wakes up and immediately notices something's off. Charlie? No answer. She heads downstairs and finds chaos. Charlie is in front of the fireplace, surrounded by notes covering the walls. Papers, diagrams, ideas, none of it organized. Husk, Angel Dust, Nifty, and even Serpentius are nearby, just watching. Charlie is muttering to herself, frantic. Vaggie steps closer, concerned. Charlie, sweetie, you okay? Charlie turns around with a strained smile. No, not really. I've been up all night trying to figure out why the hotel isn't working. We've done trust falls, we've shared feelings, we've tried everything, and we're running out of time before the angels come back. For a split second, her expression flickers, her more demonic side slipping through as she lets out a stressed laugh. At this rate, maybe it's time, Vaggie starts. No, to ask. Charlie suddenly cups Vaggie's face, stopping her. Don't say it. Vaggie gently moves her hands away. Your dad. Charlie groans immediately. But Vaggie presses on, explaining they might actually need his influence this time. Charlie hesitates, then realizes. Lucifer could get her another meeting with heaven. Slowly, she pulls out her phone, staring at his contact. Husk leans back unimpressed. What's the holdup? You got daddy issues or something? Charlie shoots him a look. No, we just haven't been close in a long time, ever since him and my mom separated. Husk takes a sip. Yeah, daddy issues. Later, Alastor arrives and pauses as he notices something new, a banner. Welcome, Daddy, with a small drawing of Lucifer underneath. Alastor's eye twitches just slightly, but his smile never drops. After a few more moments, Charlie opened the door. Lucifer steps in and immediately pulls Charlie into a hug. Charlie, it's so good to see you. Alastor looks down at him, clearly annoyed. Whether it's the idea that he might not be the most powerful one in the room, or simply the fact that Lucifer is the king of hell. Either way, his eye twitches slightly, his smile tightening. Lucifer, meanwhile, casually looks around, trying to seem impressed. Then his eyes land on the bar, completely out of place. What in the unholy hell is that? Alastor responds smoothly. One of my renovations, adds a bit of color. Lucifer glances back at him. Who are you? In an instant, Alastor vanishes, then reappears behind him, emerging from the shadows. He grabs his cane and shakes it as if it were Lucifer's hand. "Alastor, pleasure to be meeting you, sir. Quite the pleasure. It's so nice to finally put a face to the name." He leans back slightly, grin widening. "You're much shorter in person." Lucifer's expression tightens, irritation creeping in. "And you are, what, the bellhop?" Alastor lets out a small laugh. "Oh no, I'm the host of the hotel. You may have heard of me, perhaps from my radio broadcasts, or as the leader of the Avalons." Lucifer shrugs. "Nope, never heard of you." He chuckles to himself. "Guess why she name it the Has-Been Hotel?" Alastor's smile doesn't falter. "That was actually my idea." Lucifer nods mockingly. "Well, it's not very clever." Alastor lets out a short laugh. "Fuck you." Charlie quickly steps in, gently pushing her dad away from Alastor. "Dad, come on, let me show you around." She gestures excitedly. "Without Alastor, the hotel wouldn't be what it is right now." Alastor places a hand on her shoulder. "You have a very unique vision, my dear. I'm simply delighted to help bring it to life." He gives a small nod. "We're all quite proud of you." Lucifer watches this with pure annoyance. "Well, how about you introduce me to your other friends?" A moment later, as Lucifer was talking to a bit of them, a chandelier suddenly drops from above, aimed straight for Lucifer. He doesn't even flinch. It crashes, missing him completely. Lucifer glances at Alastor, unimpressed. "All right, then." And just like that, he launches into Hell Greatest Dad Cut To after the song ends. Quick cut. Before we continue, a small clarification. Mimsy isn't present in this version of the story. At some point earlier, Vox grew increasingly irritated with her constant habit of running to them for protection over and over again. After hearing the same complaints repeatedly, he pushed Alastor to handle it. Eventually, even Alastor lost patience. With his usual calm but firm tone, he told Mimsy to stop, making it clear that her behavior was becoming a nuisance and, more importantly, damaging their image. Since then, she's no longer involved with them. Cut back to the story. Alastor follows behind as Charlie gives Lucifer a full tour of the hotel. He says little, simply watching, quietly observing every reaction, every expression, like he's studying him. Lucifer, of course, keeps insisting the hotel is pointless. That whole exchange plays out much the same. The argument, the tension, and the song all still happen. By the end of it, Lucifer reluctantly agrees to help where he can, but makes it clear he won't personally go with Charlie to heaven. Now we skip ahead slightly. Alastor's exact whereabouts during this time aren't entirely clear, but the Avalons are active. Angel Dust does begin putting in more effort. Not a complete change, but noticeable. In this version, Valentino is far more restrained, mostly due to pressure from both Vox and Alastor. That said, Angel's soul is still owned. He's just dealing with far less of Valentino's direct control. Now one key change. Instead of Vaggie going, Vox steps in. He explains that it would be more effective for him to handle things directly, and after some hesitation, Vaggie agrees. This also keeps her true nature hidden from the others. Soon after, Vox and Charlie step through the portal together. They arrive at Heaven's gates, where they're met by St. Peter. After a brief exchange, they're eventually allowed inside under Sira's approval. As they walk through heaven, Vox's attention shifts immediately. He's not just looking, he's analyzing. The architecture, the lighting, the layout, the aesthetic, every detail is silently noted. Not out of awe, but opportunity, already thinking of how to recreate it, improve it, sell it, turn Heaven's image into something profit-able back in hell. When it comes to the meeting itself, things play out very differently. With Vox backing her, Charlie is able to make stronger, sharper arguments. Every time Adam tries to repeat his usual points from the original story, Vox twists them, turning Adam's own logic against him. When the requirements for entering heaven are shown, Vox immediately points out that Angel Dust has already met them. Adam questions why Angel isn't in heaven, and that's when Charlie realizes something unsettling. They don't actually know what it takes. Vox doesn't let that moment slip. He presses harder, calling out the hypocrisy. How Adam and Angel is allowed to act cruel, dismissive, even violent, while sinners trying to change are denied outright. He highlights the exterminations, questioning how they're justified. The room shifts. Other angels react, confused, unsettled. Vox catches it instantly and asks the question no one wants to answer. Wait, you didn't know about the exterminations, did you? Before it can spiral further, Sira steps in, asserting that they oversee every soul when it arrives and when it's judged. Vox cuts her off. If that's true, then why don't they even know what qualifies a soul for heaven? Silence. That's when Adam snaps. With a flick of his fingers, a portal tears open beneath them. As they're dragged back to hell, he coldly promises they'll meet again in 6 months, and that next time they'll be coming for the hotel first. Charlie shouts in protest as she's pulled in. Vox. He just glares back, "Fuck you," and then they're gone. When they return, Charlie retreats straight to her room. Meanwhile, Vox and the rest of the Avalons gather, already discussing the situation and what it means moving forward. The mood is tense, calculated. The moment Vox learns Charlie is alone, he vanishes. No announcement, no attention, just a quiet slip into the shadows. A second later, he's in her room. From there, things play out much like before. He speaks with Charlie, keeps his tone measured, and ultimately offers the same deal. Now, skipping ahead, most events follow the original course, with one key difference. The Avalons are actively involved, helping rebuild and reinforce the hotel. At one point, Vox questions why Alastor never told them sooner that Carmilla was responsible for the angel's death. Velvet casually admits she already suspected it. She just didn't say anything because to her it was obvious. From there, things escalate quickly. Rosie provides a small army. Carmilla supplies the weapons. And just like that, they're preparing for war. One more note, Vaggie still hasn't regained her wings. However, Carmilla does quietly tell her that she should come clean to Charlie. Now, cutting to the battle, it plays out similarly to canon at first, but there's a key difference. The shield. This time it's far stronger, not just Alastor maintaining it, but the Avalons reinforcing it together. The added power holds longer, cutting down more angels before anything gives. But in the end, it still only takes one punch from Adam to shatter it. The impact sends everything spiraling. Then the rooftop. Adam lands, ready for a direct confrontation. Waiting for him are the Avalons already positioned. Alastor stands at the front. Valentino to his left, Vox to his right. Velvet just behind them, a united front, a challenge. Adam grins and summons his weapon, a heavenly axe fused with his signature guitar. And just like that, the real fight begins. Alastor kicks things off, unleashing a storm of shadow tentacles. That Adam cut through with no problem, Valentino floods the area in pink smoke, throwing off Adam's aim. Vox lands a punch, far more brutal than usual with the added electricity, while smaller shadow demons swarm Adam's face, forcing him to get up and throw them off. A tentacle catches Adam and hurls him into a neon sign. Purple arrows follow, not piercing, but irritating him enough to keep him on edge. Adam retaliates, channeling pure light into his axe and swinging at Velvet. But when the smoke clears, it's Alastor who took the hit. He glances down at his broken in 2 cane. Fuck. A second later, Adam scrile him, sending him across the rooftop. Vox run over and send a punch at his face again, knocking Adam away from Alastor. Injured but standing, Alastor sends more shadow demons to stall him while Valentino thickens the smoke. Adam adapts, blasting holy light outward, not from his axe this time, forcing everyone onto defense. Then Adam turns just in time to see Serpentius' airship lining up a shot. Adam fires first, obliterating it midair. Pentius is gone. That could have been bad, Adam joke. The smoke buys them a moment until Charlie tries to ambush him from behind. Lute intercepts, striking her down. Adam grabs Charlie by the neck, lifting her. The Avalons freeze, no one risks her life. Lute steps forward, sword raised, then suddenly a spear tears through her shoulder, dropping her. Vaggie stands behind her, cold and steady. She tells Adam to let Charlie go or Lute dies. Adam scoffs. The fuck do I care? He prepares to blast Charlie, only to get blindsided by Lucifer. The hit breaks part of Adam's mask and sends him flying. Lucifer catches Charlie mid-fall. Taking the chance, the Avalons retreat, dragging Lute with them. The fight between Adam and Lucifer plays out much like canon. The only shift, when Charlie falls, Vaggie saves her instead of Lucifer with newly revealed wings. Shock hits Charlie that Vaggie is an angel, but more about it in a bit. Everything else unfolds as I'm canon. Adam rises from the ground, rants, and is ultimately killed by Nifty. Afterward, the new is bit different, with Vox controlling the new. The news reframes everything, not as a war against angels, but a movement for freedom. The hotel gains attention, not for killing Angel. Meanwhile, Serpentius awakens in heaven, proof that redemption actually works. The hotel is rebuilt, this time with help from Vox, Valentino, and Velvet, so it looked bit different. More souls begin arriving, drawn by the new message. Charlie struggles with Vaggie's secret, but after a long talk, they steady themselves. Then Sierra and Emily arrive also with Lute at the hotel. Lute was not shaken, trying to take the fact Adam was going to let her die. Sierra brings news of Penchus, confirming Charlie's dream is real. Now they just have to figure out how it works, maybe something tied to sin itself. And that's the end of part 1, What If Alastor Accepted Vox Deal. I hope y'all enjoy. I will begin working on part 2 when season 3 of Has Been Hotel come out. I will begin working on other what ifs for other shows. Make sure to smile, good bee.